Welcome to Storylight. In today's video, Sarah will tell you about her journey to learning English. We'll also learn some interesting vocabulary and expressions from her story to help you improve your English skills. So, let's get started. Listen carefully. Hello, my name is Sarah. I am a student of English literature. This is my story. I want to tell you about my life in London. I want to tell you about my fantastic teacher. You can listen my story and learn English with me. It is a beautiful summer day. I am traveling on a train. 2 women are on the train with me. The women are sitting opposite me. They are speaking English. I don't understand much. I am studying English, but I am a beginner. I don't know many words. I begin speaking to the woman. I say some words in basic English. The woman understands what I want to say, and that makes me happy. I say that. I want to learn English. The woman tell me that. They are from England. They are going home from a conference. Our conversation is 10 minutes long. The next station is my station. I say goodbye. The women give me their address and phone number. They tell me that I can visit them in England. Then we say goodbye. After this meeting, I worked on my English every day. I translated texts and watched films in English. In 6 months, my English improved. It was good now, but I wanted to learn more. I went to London. I wanted to study English from London. When I was in London, I joined a school. My first lesson was on Monday. I met my teacher and other students in the class. My teacher was a young and fine lady. She was very nice and humble. We introduced ourselves and then proceeded with the lesson. Our teacher has a question for us. She wanted to know our general knowledge about the language. Our teacher told us that she can teach through a very effective method to learn English. This method was very simple. One of the most effective ways I learned new words was through listening English stories. Listening English stories not only helped me learn new vocabulary, but also improved my understanding of sentence structures and grammar. I made it a habit to listen the stories for at least 30 minutes every day. Our teacher tells us that we would not have to study. We won't have to read textbooks, but we would have to use English a lot in our daily lives. It turned out very effective for me. I did not like studying from the textbooks because they confused me. Then we spoke about what is important when we learn a new language. Our teacher told us language is a purpose and a mode for communication. We need languages to communicate. Languages help us to express ideas and thoughts. So when you learn a new language, the best method is to use the language to express our feelings and to communication with other people as well. And this is what we will do in our course. We will speak and make use of English language a lot. Many students try to remember new words. They also study grammar rules. And these students don't use English for speaking. They study about the language, but they don't use the language. There is a difference, of course. You need to learn new words and grammar, but you don't have to study them. You need to practice them on a daily basis. In this course, I wanted to show a very simple and effective method on how to learn vocabulary and grammar. One of the biggest challenges I faced was improving my pronunciation. With the help of my teacher, I learned the shadowing technique, which involved copying the sounds of native speakers. This technique, along with thinking aloud in English, helped me speak more confidently and fluently. I like what our teacher says. Our lesson continues. We spoke about our hobbies and what we like to do in our time. We spoke in pairs or with our teacher. I enjoyed taking classes. I am really happy this system of learning turned out to be very good and effective for me. In addition to my studies, I also wanted to gain practical experience in English. I found a job at a cafe where I could practice speaking English with customers. This experience not only improved my language skills, but also gave me the confidence to communicate effectively in various situations. Looking back on my journey, I realize how far I've come in learning English. From a beginner struggling to communicate to someone who can confidently express ideas and thoughts in English, the progress has been remarkable. I continue to read, listen, think, and speak in English every day, knowing that learning is a lifelong journey. My journey to learning English has been challenging yet rewarding. Through perseverance and dedication, I've overcome obstacles and achieved my goals. I hope my story inspires you to embark on your own language learning journey and discover the joy of mastering a new language. Let's learn some new words and expressions. Understanding these words will help you to enhance your English skills. Let's start. Literature. Literature refers to written works, especially those considered to have artistic or intellectual value, such as novels, poems, and plays. Example: Sarah enjoys reading literature from different cultures. Conference. A conference is a meeting where people come together to discuss a particular topic or issue. Example: the women were returning home from a business conference. Native. Native refers to being born or originating in a particular place or country. Example: Sarah's native language is Italian. Reception. Reception can refer to the area in a building where visitors are received or to the act of receiving something. Example: Sarah asked for information at the school reception desk. Bilingual. Able to speak 2 languages fluently. Example: Sarah aimed to become bilingual in English and her native language by practicing every day. Counselor. A counselor is a person trained to give guidance or advice on personal, social, or psychological issues. Example: Sarah spoke with a counselor at the job center about her career options. Reflection. Reflection is the act of thinking deeply or carefully about something. Example: Sarah looked back on her journey with reflection, realizing how far she had come in learning English. Turned out. This means to happen or develop in a particular way. Example: Sarah's decision to learn English in London turned out to be a great experience. Went over. This means to review or examine something in detail. Example: the teacher went over the pronunciation of difficult words with the students. Cherish forever. To value and hold dear something for a long time. Example: Sarah cherished the memories of her time in London and the friendships she made. Looked back. This means to review or recall past events or experiences. Example: Sarah looked back on her journey of learning English with pride and satisfaction. Get frustrated. To become annoyed or impatient because of difficulty or failure. Example: Sarah got frustrated when she couldn't understand some English words during her studies. Thank you for watching our story about learning English. Keep practicing and stay motivated, and soon you'll find yourself speaking English more confidently. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more lessons. Until then, keep shining bright with Storylight. Welcome to Storylight. In today's video, Gia will tell you how she was late for school. We'll also learn some interesting vocabulary and expressions from her story to help you improve your English skills. So, let's get started. Listen carefully. Hi, my name is Gia, and I want to share with you the story of the day I woke up late for school. It was a bright and sunny morning, and I was snuggled up in my warm bed, dreaming away. But suddenly, I jolted awake and realized that I had overslept. I glanced at the clock, and my eyes widened in shock. I was already late for school. I jumped out of bed, my heart racing with panic. I quickly brushed my teeth, combed my hair, and grabbed my school bag. As I rushed downstairs, I could hear my mum in the kitchen preparing breakfast. "Mum, I'm late!" I shouted, hoping she could help me. My mum, always calm in stressful situations, smiled and said, "Don't worry, Gia. I'll pack your breakfast, and we'll figure this out together." She quickly made me a sandwich and poured a glass of milk. I devoured my breakfast in record time, and we hurried out of the house. As we stepped outside, I saw the school bus approaching in the distance. "Mum, the bus!" I exclaimed, my voice filled with worry. But my mom remained calm. She signaled to the bus driver, who kindly stopped and let us on. I sat down, my heart still racing, and wondered if I would make it to school on time. The bus ride felt like forever, but finally we arrived at school. I thanked the bus driver and ran to my classroom. I slipped into my seat just as the bell rang. My teacher looked surprised to see me, but welcomed me with a smile. "Good morning, Gia. I'm glad you could join us," she said. I smiled back, relieved that I hadn't missed anything important. As I sat there, catching my breath, I realized how lucky I was to have a mum who always knew what to do in a crisis. From that day on, I learned that even when things don't go as planned, there are always people who are willing to help you out. And that's the story of the day I almost missed the bus. Let's learn some useful words and expressions, understanding. These words will help you to enhance your English skills. Let's start. Snuggled up. To lie or sit somewhere very comfortably, especially with a lot of cover around you. Example, the children snuggled up in bed with their favorite blankets. Dreaming away. To spend time dreaming or thinking about pleasant things. Example, she sat by the window, dreaming away the afternoon. Jolted awake. To suddenly wake up because of a shock or surprise. Example, he was jolted awake by the loud noise outside. Widened. To become or make something become wider. Example, her eyes widened in surprise when she saw the cake. Devoured. To eat something quickly and eagerly. Example, she devoured the delicious meal in minutes. Crisis, a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. Example, the company faced a financial crisis last year. Filled with panic, to feel a sudden strong feeling of fear or anxiety. Example, she was filled with panic when she realized she was lost. Catch my breath. To stop and rest in order to control breathing after physical exertion. Example, after running, I had to sit down and catch my breath. Figure this out together to solve a problem or situation with the help of others. Example, we need to figure this out together before it's too late. In no time, very quickly, or soon. Example, he fixed the car in no time, and we were able to continue our journey. Thank you for watching our story about learning English. Keep practicing and stay motivated, and soon you'll find yourself speaking English more confidently. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more lessons. Until then, keep shining bright with Storylight. Welcome to Storylight. In today's video, Jacob will tell you how he got connected with someone. We'll also learn some interesting vocabulary and expressions from her story to help you improve your English skills. So let's get started. Listen carefully.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I want to share with you the rainy day when I got connected with someone. It was the day when the rain was relentless, a steady downpour that seemed determined to soak me to the bone. I glanced at my watch, realizing with a sinking feeling that I was already running late for the job interview I had been preparing for weeks. But as I hurried through the rain-soaked streets, I couldn't help but notice the beauty in the storm. The rain transformed the city, washing away the grime and leaving everything fresh and new. The sound of raindrops hitting the pavement was like music to my ears, a soothing symphony that seemed to drown out the chaos of the world. Despite my urgency, I found myself slowing down, savoring the tranquility of the moment. As I turned the corner, I saw her standing there, a lone figure huddled under a flimsy awning. Her clothes were drenched, and her hair was plastered to her face, but there was a certain grace in the way she stood, as if defying the storm that raged around her. She looked up at me with wide eyes, and without hesitation, I approached her. "Are you okay?" I asked, holding out my umbrella. She nodded gratefully, accepting the shelter I offered. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. I couldn't help but notice how beautiful she was, even in her bedraggled state. Her eyes were a striking shade of blue, shimmering with a hint of sadness. I wondered what had brought her out into the rain, alone and vulnerable. "Where are you headed?" I asked, trying to make conversation as we stood together under the umbrella. She hesitated, as if debating whether or not to trust me. But then she sighed, as if resigning herself to fate. "I'm supposed to meet someone," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. But I think I'm already too late. Maybe they're still waiting for you, I offered optimistically. She managed a small smile, her eyes lighting up with a flicker of hope. Maybe, she echoed, though her tone was tinged with uncertainty. Without another word, we continued on our way, navigating the rain-soaked streets together. As we walked, she told me about her life. Her name was Emily, and she had recently moved to the city in search of a fresh start. But things hadn't gone as planned, and now she found herself alone and adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Despite the hardships she had faced, Emily remained hopeful, her spirit unbroken by the challenges life had thrown her way. I couldn't help but admire her resilience. Before I knew it, we had arrived at our destination. I glanced at my watch, realizing with a sinking feeling that I was already late for my interview. But as I looked at Emily, I knew that I couldn't just leave her alone in the rain. "Come with me," I said impulsively, taking her hand in mine. "I'll be late for my interview, but maybe we can find shelter together." Emily hesitated, as if unsure whether or not to accept my offer. But then she nodded, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. Together, we sought refuge in a nearby cafe, seeking solace from the storm outside. As we sat together, sipping hot coffee and sharing stories, I couldn't help but feel a sense of warmth and comfort wash over me. In that moment, I realized that sometimes the most unexpected encounters could lead to the most meaningful connections, and as I looked at Emily, I knew that I had found something special in the midst of the rain. As the storm raged on outside, Emily and I laughed and talked, our conversation flowing effortlessly like the raindrops cascading down the window pane. And in that small corner of the world, two strangers found solace in each other's company, their hearts entwined by the simple magic of a rainy day.
Let's learn some interesting words and expressions. Understanding these words will help you to enhance your English skills. Let's start. Relentless. Always continuing and not stopping or getting less intense. Example: the relentless rain lasted all night, causing flooding in some areas. Sinking feeling. A feeling of disappointment or dread. Example: he had a sinking feeling when he realized he had forgotten his wallet at home. Bedraggled. Dirty and untidy, especially from being wet. Example: after playing in the mud, the children were bedraggled but happy. Adrift, without purpose or guidance. Example: after finishing college, he felt adrift, unsure of what career path to take. Resilience, the ability to recover from difficulties. Example: her resilience helped her bounce back from the setbacks in her life. Optimistically, hopeful and confident about the future. Example: she looked at the bright side of things, facing challenges optimistically. Tranquil, calm, and peaceful. Example: the lake was tranquil, with only the sound of birds chirping in the distance. Entwined, twisted, or interlaced together. Example: the vines were entwined around the tree trunk, forming a natural pattern. Drown out, to make a sound impossible to hear because it is too loud. Example: the noise of the construction site drowned out the music from the nearby cafe. Soak me to the bone, to get completely wet. Example: the rain soaked me to the bone and I was shivering. Blur the edges of reality, to make things less clear or distinct. Example: the fog blurred the edges of reality, making it hard to see. Defying the storm, to resist or challenge the difficulties of a situation. Example: despite the challenges, she was defiant, defying the storm of life. Press down on him, to feel weighed down or burdened by something. Example: the responsibility of caring for his family pressed down on him. Eyes crinkling at the corners, Smiling with the eyes example, she greeted him with a warm smile, her eyes crinkling at the corners. Thank you for watching our story about learning English. Keep practicing and stay motivated, and soon you'll find yourself speaking English more confidently. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more lessons. Until then, keep shining bright with Storylight. Thank you for watching our story about learning English. Keep practicing and stay motivated, and soon you'll find yourself speaking English more confidently. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more lessons. Until then, keep shining bright with Storylight.